Baking soda's only 99 cents.
Yo. There's pressure that comes with the block. You could end up inside of a box when you get your knob buzzed by a op after getting set up by a thought. Opportunity, it doesn't knock. No, that sound right there be the cops. Yep. And all of that stress that we talking still beats punching the clock. You think I wanna sweep your floor from 8 to 4? Fuck, I wanna take your orders for when your favorite star got an Audemars that's worth more than mama's car. Type of shit make you wanna say fuck the law. When your rent's due and your piss poor, nigga, we don't even own our own corner store. So quarter waters cost a quarter more. Wanna be an entrepreneur? We want sign checks. We want work for ourselves. We want on the nets. You're too much of a threat when you're on your own assets. So the only thing they show us is how to be an outlet. So we won't connect. They say hi like hola. Listen to Hova. Whip up a Rover. Been watching Power. Tommy and Ghost Bruh. So I need some powder. Fish scale and soda for 99 cents.
It's hard to repent when you gotta pay rent. Baking soda's only 99 cents. Make it make sense, oh, make it make sense. Baking soda's only 99 cents. It's hard to repent when you gotta pay rent. Baking soda's only 99 cents. Make it make sense, oh, make it make sense. Yeah. You see, the money is a motive. Repeat my history, crack cocaine is like the motive. It's plain and simple, way back then my mother hustled. It's in my blood, so I feel like it's time to grind, just like the times when niggas died. Hold up, back then was the bad days, motherfuckers push mad weight. I was a crack baby, tell me nothing about my mother and the struggle. See, I love it in this focus, trying to sparkle, she hustle, selling everything in the house, goddamn. She ain't give a damn about the spouse, goddamn. So my oldest brother had to man up, had to take care of us in the piece with 4 kids. The one on the way with no clip, no food in the fridge, on some post shit. Got food stamps from the neighbors, Ty worth ain't ask no favors. Late night he was shot bodegas. Over bread and some meat, some mayo. Kool-Aid had about 4 flavors. And when I went to cash out, Aki lashed out. Told him he'd take food stamps. $15 for that kid, fuck all that shit. Then the young nigga noticed that he could be the coldest. Take back what they owed us. Whole world on the shoulders. No food in the kitchen but the stove work. $10 in the sack and he pointed to the back, say, let me get that soda. 99 cents. It's hard to repent when you gotta pay rent. Baking soda's only 99 cents. Make it make sense, oh, make it make sense. Baking soda's only 99 cents. It's hard to repent when you gotta pay rent. Baking soda's only 99 cents. Make it make sense, oh, make it make sense. Yeah.
So let me get this shit straight. So I gotta go take out loans to go to school, to get a job, just to pay for the loans I took out in the first place? I'm looking at this arm and hammer like I should have a hammer in my arm right goddamn now. Shit ain't make no sense. Lord, make it make sense. Goddamn.
Baking soda's only 99 cents. Hey, it's hard to repent when you gotta pay rent. Baking soda's only 99 cents. Make it make sense, oh, make it make sense. Baking soda's only 99 make it make sense. Baking soda's only 99.
Hey, Shalom Israel. Yabashim Shabbat Thumb to the brothers. Yal Shemala Thumb Bashim Yal Shah to the sisters. I'm Priest Officer Parak, holding down the Saturday Sabbath service for the ISUPK coming out of Arizona. I'm going to put this at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to put our class location, 12416 North 28 Drive. on suite number 4, right off of the corner of 28th Drive and Cactus. If you're in the Phoenix area, if you're in Arizona, if you're anywhere close, make sure you come out to these classes. We got classes every Tuesday through Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. And every Saturday we hold our Sabbath service, which is today, every Saturday at 11 a.m. All right. And so, look, man, today we're going to be starting something new. For those of y'all that have tuned into our Sabbath services before, we kind of, we go over different topics in the Bible, right? We go over different topics in the Bible. And, we get the precepts form and things like that. And just, it's almost, just like a regular class, right? But we're going to do something different, all right? We're going to start at the beginning of the Bible. We're going to start in Genesis, the first chapter. And week after week, and this is UPK tradition. This is something that actually we used to do, is start at the beginning of the Bible for these Sabbath services. We read these 7 verses at a time, and you just read through the whole so-called Old Testament. All right, so this week, right, we'll be in Genesis, the first chapter. All right, might dip into the second chapter, depending on how many verses we get done. And then we'll move right on into, continuing on. So this week, we're going to be talking about creation. All right, because, of course, when you start off at the beginning of the Bible, that's what the first thing that you see in the Bible is creation, how the world was formed. And we're going to actually get deep into the science of it. We're going to talk about the specifics of how the Most High did what he did when he created this earth. It's actually extremely amazing. All right, the way that the Most High constructed not only this earth, but the stars in the sky, the moon, the sun, and the galaxies. We're going to talk about that. That's in the Bible too. See, a lot of times, and since we're focusing on this week, right, a lot of times people, they lean on science so much, and science and scientists, they try to disprove a creator. They try to say that all these things happen by happenstance. Am I right? Yeah. All these things just happen by happenstance. The Big Bang Theory, they try to make it seem like there was just this random explosion that, and that we're still in that explosion. That's part of the Big Bang Theory, right? We're still in that explosion, this outward expansion of the universe, right? Well, they're not even realizing that the Bible tells us that the Big Bang is not a theory. The Big Bang happened, but the Most High snapped his fingers and made that Big Bang happen. We're going to find that in the Bible. But because Christianity has failed us as a people, they teach against the Big Bang. They like, no, the Big Bang Theory is false. Instead of really leaning into the science that these people are trying to claim and actually realizing that they just have a warped understanding of what the Bible is actually teaching, And so we're going to get all of that today, but this is the importance of the creation story. And most likely next week, like I said, we're doing this thing. We're going to read the whole Bible together. So I pray that brothers and sisters is tapping into these classes, because we're going to, if you haven't read the whole Bible, which you should have, but if you haven't, it's all right. We'll read it together. You understand? And we'll read this whole thing together, and we're going to break down the entire Bible. You don't get a lot of, people doing that, breaking down the entire Bible for you, reading through the whole thing. And over the course of these Sabbath services, like I said, are going to be on that course. So over the course of the next year or so, we're going to be year or 2 or 3 or however long it's going to take for us to get through this so-called Old Testament. We're going to read the entire Bible, and we're going to break every single precept down. You don't get that from nowhere, and we ain't asking you to pay us no goddamn money. You ain't got to pay a dime for this service. We're just going to do it for you. But that's what we're starting today. So I just want everybody to understand this is the way the Sabbath services is going to go from now on. So that also should make you to understand you shouldn't be missing any of these classes. All right, because then you're gonna miss out on these breakdowns. All right, so that's what we're gonna get into today. We'll be in Genesis, the first chapter. We'll be reading down, and we'll get the breakdown of the creation story. All right, but of course, this being a Sabbath service, we're gonna start off with the prayer. So I imagine, which means to stand. Y'all which means to turn and face the east. We're gonna begin with the prayers. The same way that we do in our traditional Sabbath service. All right, we're going to start off with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa,
Abanawa,
Shabbat Shemayim,
Shabbat Shemayim,
Kodash,
Kodash,
Hayah,
Hayah,
Shamka,
Shamka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Malakwaka,
Malakaka,
Taba'a,
Taba'a,
Ratazaka,
Ratazaka,
Hayah,
Hayah,
Aisha,
Aisha,
Ma'arataza,
Ma'arataza,
Kawa,
Kawa,
Hayah,
Hayah,
Bashamayim,
Bashamayim,
Thalanawa,
Thalanawa,
Lacham,
Lacham,
Kayawam,
Kayawam,
Wasalakanawa,
Wasalakanawa,
Kawatnawa,
Kawatnawa,
Kasalaknawa,
Kasalaknawa,
Kawatinawa,
Kawatnawa,
Wala'a,
Wala'a,
Tabayanawa,
Tabayanawa,
Manasai 1,
Manasai 1,
Abal,
Abal,
Hawashanawa,
Hawashanawa,
Mayan,
Mayan,
Raikaya,
Rakaya,
Laka,
Laka,
Hamalakwa,
Hamalakwa,
Wa'ala,
Wa'ala,
Wathapara,
Watapara,
Laiwalamyam,
Laiwalamyam,
Aman.
Aman.
In the English, the Lord's Prayer. Our Father,
Our Father,
which art in heaven,
which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name,
hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
thy kingdom come,
thy kingdom
thy
come,
will be done in earth,
thy will be done in earth,
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread,
Give us this day our daily bread.
and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors.
Give us debts, we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation,
Lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
Thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the
and
glory
the glory
forever.
forever.
So be it.
So be it.
Be Hakak, or the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh,
Yahweh,
by Hashem Yahushai,
Ba'ashem Yahushua,
Babu Kushai,
Babu Kashah,
Nathalanawa,
Nathanael,
Hakak,
Hakat,
Hakak,
Hakat,
Larapa'ah,
Rapa'ah,
Kal Maka'ala,
Mukama Allah,
Wakal Madawa,
Mukama Madawa,
Hakat Latahar,
Hakat Atahar,
Hamatazariah,
Hamat Azariah,
Hakat Lakwayam,
Hakat Lakoyim,
Hamathiam,
Hamat,
Hakat,
Hakat,
Al Rakawa,
Arakawa,
Hatama'ala,
Atama Allah,
Lagar Shun,
Garshan,
Bashem Yahushai,
Ba'ashem Yahushua,
Wadaman.
Wadaman.
The Hakak, or the power in the English. Yahweh,
Yahweh,
in the name of Yahushai,
name Yahushua,
please give us the power.
please give us the
The
power.
power to heal all manner of sickness
Power here, all manner of sickness,
and all manner of disease.
all manner of disease.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
Power to cleanse the
The
leper,
power to raise the dead.
power to raise the
The
dead,
power to cleanse, the power against unclean
the
spirits,
power against unclean spirits,
to cast them out.
cast them
In
out.
the name of Yahushai,
Then Yahushua,
thank you, so be it.
thank you, so be it.
The prayers to bless Israel in the Hebrew. Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bashem Yahushai,
Ba'ashem Yahushua,
Barak Lanawa,
Barak Lanawa,
Wayasha'ala,
Washa Allah,
Wahabaya Saparyam,
Habayah Party,
Barak, Barak,
Barak,
Bashem Yahushai,
Ba'ashem Yahushua,
the Wadaman.
Wadaman.
In the English, what we just said was, Yahweh,
Yahweh,
in the name of Yahushai,
name Yahushua,
bless us
bless us,
and Israel
and Israel,
and the school
and the school,
in the name of
name
Yahushai.
Yahushua,
Thank you, so be it.
thank you, so be it.
We're going to read Psalms, the 121st chapter in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayanya, Ahahaya,
Ahari,
Ma'ayan,
Ma'ayah,
Yaba'ah,
Ba'ah,
Azariah,
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 Ma'aim,
Ma'aim,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Aisha,
Aisha,
Shamayam,
Shemayim,
Wa'aratazah,
Aratazah,
Al-Yathan,
Ayathan,
Mamawat,
Mamawat,
Regalka,
Regard,
Al-Yanawam,
Ayanawam,
Shamarka,
Shamarka,
Hana,
Hana,
La'ah,
La'ah,
Yanawam,
Yanawam,
Wala'ah,
Wala'ah,
Yayashun,
Yashun,
Shamar,
Shamar,
Yasha'ala,
Yashra,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Shamarka,
Shamar,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Tazalka,
Zaka,
Al-Yad,
Al-Yad,
Yamyanka,
Yamyanka,
Yawamam,
Yawamam,
Hashamash,
Hashemash,
La'ah,
La'ah,
Yakaka,
Wayaka,
Wayarach,
Wayarach,
Alayala,
Wayala,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamarka,
Shamarka,
Makal Rai,
Makar,
Yashamar,
Yashmar,
Athnapashka,
Pascha,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamar,
Yashmar,
Taza'athka,
Taza'ath,
Wabawa'aka,
Wabawa'ak,
Ma'aitha,
Ma'aitha,
Wa'ai,
Wa'ai,
Awalam.
Awulam.
In the English, Psalms 121st chapter. I will lift up mine eyes unto the
I
hills,
lift up mine eyes into the hills.
from whence cometh my help.
Whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from
My
Yahweh,
help cometh from Yahweh,
which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
Will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Yasha'ala
he that keepeth Yahshua
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
Thou shalt preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
Thou shalt preserve thy going out
and thy coming in,
and thy coming in.
from this time forth
From this time forth,
and even forevermore.
even forevermore.
Psalms the 83rd chapter. We're going to begin with reading the Hebrew. Allahayim,
Allahai,
Al Damayalaka,
Adam Yalaka,
Al Thakarash,
Al-Takaras,
Wa Al Thashakwat,
Al-Tashakwat,
All,
Al,
Kayahana,
Kayana,
Awa Yabyaka,
Al-Yabya,
Yahamaya 1,
Yamaya 1,
Ra'ash,
Ra'ash,
Al Imaka,
Al-Aim,
Yarayamwa,
Yamayumba,
Sawada,
Sawadah,
Wayatha,
Wayatha,
Yaitazawa,
Yaitazawa,
Al Tazapawanyaka,
Al-Tatapawanyaka,
Amarwa,
Amaru,
Yakawa,
Yakawa,
Wanakakidam,
Unakakidam,
Magalia,
Magalia,
Wala'a,
Wala'ah,
Azakar,
Zakar,
Sham Yasha'ala,
Shem Yasha'al,
Iwada,
Awadah,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Nawaitazawa,
Waitazawa,
Laba,
Laba,
Yakadwa,
Yakau,
Alyaka,
Ayah,
Baryat,
Ayah,
Yakarathwa,
Rafu,
Ahaya,
Ahaya,
Arawam,
Adawan,
Wayashamayalium,
Washma'ali,
Mawa'aba,
Mawa'ab,
Wahagaryam,
Wa'agari,
Gabal,
Wa'al,
Waimawan,
Wa'amawan,
Waimalak,
Wa'amalak,
Palashah,
Palashah,
I'm Yeshabya,
Yeshab,
Tazawar,
Tazawar,
Gamashawar,
Gamashawar,
Nalawa,
Nalawa,
Imam,
Iman,
Ayawa,
Aywa,
Zawad,
Zawad,
Labanya Lawat,
Abani Lawat,
Salah,
Salah,
Aishalaham,
Ashalaham,
Kamadyan,
Kamadi,
Kasaya,
Kasaya,
Sara'a,
Sara'ah,
Kayabyan,
Kayebi,
Banakal,
Banakal,
Kwayashwan,
Bayaswan,
Nashamadwa,
Neshamah,
Bayan,
Bayan,
Da'ara,
Da'ara,
Hayawa,
Ayawa,
Daman,
Daman,
La'alama,
Adam,
Shayathamwa,
Shaitambu,
Nada,
Nada,
Yamawa,
Yamawa,
Ka'ira,
Ka'ira,
Wakaza Abba,
Wakaza,
Wakaza Bak,
Wakazaba,
Wakatazal,
Wakazal,
Mana'ai,
Mana'ai,
Call,
Call,
Nasaya Kamwa,
Sayakamu,
Ashar,
Ashar,
Amarwa,
Amarwa,
Nair Rashad,
Rashad,
Lanawa,
Now,
Ath,
Ah,
Na'awath,
Na'awat,
Alahayam,
Alahaya,
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 Shayathamwa,
Shaitambu,
Kagalgala,
Kagaga,
Kakwash,
Kakwash,
Lapanya Rakah,
Rakat,
Ka'ash,
Ka'ash,
Saba'ira,
Saba'ira,
Ya'ira,
Ya'ira,
Wakalahabah,
Wakalaba,
Thalahat,
Talahat,
Aryam,
Aryam,
Khan,
Khan,
Tharadatma,
Tharadatma,
Basa'iraka,
Basa'iraka,
Wabasa,
Wabasa,
Wapathka,
Wapathka,
Thabahalam,
Tabalam,
Mala'a,
Mala'at,
Panyaham,
Panyaham,
Kwalawan,
Kalawan,
Webakwashwa,
Wabakashwa,
Shamka,
Shimka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yabashwa,
Yabashwa,
Webahawa,
Wabahar,
Ayai,
Ayai,
Wekaparwa,
Wakaparwa,
Weabadwa,
Wayabat,
Wedaiwa,
Wayaiwa,
Kayatha,
Wayatha,
Shamka,
Shimka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Labadka,
Labat,
Ayawan,
Ayawan,
Alkal,
Alkal,
Ha'arataza.
Aratza.
All right, we're going to read Psalms, the 83rd chapter in the English. Keep not thou silence, O God.
Keep not thy silence, O God.
Hold not thy peace,
Hold not thy peace.
and be not still, O God.
Be not still, O God.
For lo,
For lo,
thine enemies make a tumult,
thy enemies make a tumult.
and they that hate thee have lifted up their head.
They have lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people,
They take crafty counsel against thy people.
and consulted against thy hidden one.
Consulted against thy hidden ones.
They have said,
They have said,
Come,
Come,
and let us cut them off from being a
let's
nation,
cut them off from being a nation.
that the name of Yasha'Allah
The name of Yahshua
may be no more in
may be
remembrance.
no more remembrance.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
They consulted together with one consent.
They are confederate against
They
thee,
are confederate against it.
the tabernacles of Edom,
The tabernacles of Edom,
and the Ishmaelites,
the Ishmaelites,
of Moab,
Moab,
and the Hagarenes,
Hagarenes,
Gabal,
Gabal,
and Ammon,
and Ammon,
and Amalek,
and Amalek,
the Philistines,
Philistines,
with the inhabitants of
the
Tyre.
inhabitants of Tyre.
Assur also is joined with
So
them.
also adjourned with them.
They have hope in the children of
They're
Lot,
hoping the children of Lot.
Salah.
Salah.
Do unto them as unto the Midianites,
You want to do it unto the Midianites.
as to Sisera,
Access to Syria.
as to Jabin,
Access to
at
Jabin.
the brook of Kasan,
Perfect son.
which perished that endured.
First had endured.
They became as dung for the earth,
It became as done for the earth.
made their nobles like Oreb,
It looks like a red.
and like Zahel.
Like the
Yea,
Yeah.
all their princes as Abba,
All the princes of Bat.
and as Amunah,
And as a moon
who said,
who said,
Let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession.
let's take to ourselves houses of God in possession.
Oh my God,
Oh my God.
make them like a wheel,
They don't like a wheel.
as the stubble before the wind,
As the stove before the
as
wind.
the fire burneth the wood,
The fire burneth the wood.
and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
And the flames set the mountains on fire.
So persecute them with thy tempest,
Persecute them with thy tempest.
and make them afraid with thy storm.
Make them afraid with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame,
Fill their face with shame.
that they may seek thy name.
And they receive thy name.
O Yahweh,
Oh, Yahweh.
let them be confounded in trouble forever.
Let them be confounded in trouble forever.
Yea,
Yea.
let them be put to shame and perish,
Let me put the shame and perish.
that men may know
May we know
that thou,
that thou,
whose name alone
whose name alone
is Yahweh,
is Yahweh,
art the most high over all the earth.
most high of all the earth.
All right, we're going to read the blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh.
wa Yahweh Shai,
Why Yahweh
wa
Shai?
Ma'aka Allah,
Why Ma'aka Allah?
wa Alahayim,
Why Alahayim?
Matazab Ya'ah,
Zab Yah.
Allah Wab Yahana,
Alawap Yahan.
Ha'alawapyam,
Ha'alawap.
Hasarenyam,
Hasarayim.
Hakwatazayenyam,
Kwatas Ayayim.
Hakayayayam,
Ka Ayayim.
Wahakwathim,
Wa'atni.
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
Hashem Yahweh Shai,
Why Shim Yahweh Shai?
Wa'anaman.
Why Alaman?
In the English, the blessings. Bless you, Yahweh,
Bless you, Yahweh.
and Yahweh
And
Shai,
Yahweh Shai.
and Michael,
And Mike.
and the angels,
The angels.
commanding General Yahana,
Manager Yahan.
the generals,
Zero.
the captains,
Captains,
the officers, the troopers,
Troopers.
and the
And
sisters.
it's a
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
in the name of Yahweh
And
Shai,
then Yahweh Shai.
thank you, so be it.
Thank you, so be it.
Sorry while you're shopping, we can turn and be seated. All right. Once again, we're going to be in Genesis, the first chapter. All right. And we're going to begin by reading in the Hebrew. All right. As per the custom of the Sabbath service, according to the Torah or according to the law. This is how we operate. Let me see something. So, lock you 1 second. All right. So we're going to begin with Genesis, the first chapter. We read 7 verses at a time as per the custom of Israel. So we're going to read beginning Genesis 1:1, starting off with the first 7 verses. And just so anybody, in case anybody didn't know, right, the term Genesis means beginning. In the Hebrew, it's Bara'ashyath or Ra'ashyath. Ra'ashyath means beginning. Bara'ashyath means in the beginning. All right. right? And that term Genesis means, all right? It's just the English version of it, all right? So give me 1 second, y'all. 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. All right, I'm back. So locking. All right. So now we're gonna go ahead and begin at the beginning. All right. Genesis 1:1. Bara Ashath, Bara Alahayim, Ath, Hashemayim, Wa'ath, Ha'aratazah, verse 2. Wa'aratazah, Hayatha, Thawa, Wabawa'a, Slagit, Wabahawa, Wahash, Slaki, Wakashka, Au, Panya, Thawa'a, Slaki, Thawa'am, Wara, Slaki, Wara, Wak, Slaki, Waraka, Alahayim, Marakapa, Au, Panya, Hamayam, verse 3, Wayamar, Alahayim, Yahaya, Awar, Wayahaya, Awar, verse 4, Wayara'a, Alahayim, Ath, Ha'awar, Kaya, Tawab, Wayabadal, Slakin, Wayabadal, Alahayim, Bayan, Slakin, Ha'awar, Wabayan, Hakashak, verse 5, Wayakora, Alahayim, Lawar, Yawam, Walakashak, Korah, Layala, Wayahaya, Arab, Wayahaya, Bakwar, Wayam, Akkad, verse 6, Waya Amar, Alahayim, Yahaya, Requayai, Bathwaka, it's like Bathwaka, Hamayam, Wayahaya, Salaki Madaya, Slaki Mabadaya, Bayan, Mayam, Lamayam, verse 7, Wayayasha, Alahayam, Ath, Harakwa Ya, Slaki Harakwaya, Wayabadal, Bayan, Hamayam, Ashar, Mathakath, Larakwaya, Wabayan, Hamayam, Ashar, Ma'al, La'akwayai, Wayahaya Khan. So that was verses 1 through 7. We'll read those same verses in the English, and we'll break it on down. Now, once again, this is going to be a right. This is what you got to understand. What we're doing, that we understanding how the Most High created the universe. It's ridiculous. The thing that we're talking about today is ridiculous. All right, so, but we're going to break it down. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We're going to break it down in the most practical way possible, so that way that our brothers and sisters can understand this thing. Okay, so go ahead and read that from the top.
The book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 1, in English. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
All right, Bara Ashath. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. All right. So this is, something that we have to understand, right? In the beginning of what? Because see, the Most High doesn't have a beginning or an end. The Most High has always existed. He's self-existent. He's always existed. Nobody had to create the Most High. Understand that. So what beginning is this talking about? Well, this is the beginning of life as we know it. That's what the beginning is when you read Genesis, the first chapter. Now, let's start off by this, right? Who wrote the book of Genesis? Who scribed and penned this down?
Moses.
That's what we think, right? But at the same time, when you go into the book of Ezra, you come to find out that Moses was the one that this information was originally given to, but what we have today, we believe, is like it's a possibility that Ezra the scribe came back and scribed these things down for us. All right. So Moses was given this wisdom and this understanding. Ezra came back and he had to scribe these things down because of the multiple captivities that we had went through and things like that, right? So what we're likely reading is Ezra's work here, right? And Ezra was an excellent scribe. Of course, we understand Moses was an excellent prophet, all right? And so in order to understand these things, we have to understand God. And that's not an easy thing to do. You understand? Right. Most people that try to say that they understand God are lying to you because it's almost impossible. However, the Most High is not the author of confusion. So this doesn't have, if this wasn't supposed to be understood, it wouldn't be written down. We don't have a book of Genesis and a creation story if it wasn't meant to be understood properly. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Well, what is the heaven? The heaven is the so-called fourth dimension where the Most High dwells. That's what a heaven is. Now, we would like to keep it that simple. That would be beautiful if we could just keep it that simple, but understand that the Most High is not a simplistic God. All right. So there's stages to what we would call heaven, right? Now, heaven, that a lot of people, when they think about heaven, they're thinking about the fourth dimension where the Most High dwells, right? The heavenly realm, all right, where the Most High and his angels dwell. But also understand that heaven is also outer space, right? When you come out of the atmosphere of earth and you go into what people call outer space, that's also considered heaven. But I got another one for you. Heaven is also considered the sky above, inside of earth's atmosphere, but up there where the planes fly and the helicopters is at. So that's where it gets a little, that's the word that we read. If y'all was following along with me in the Hebrew, that's the word shemayim. And see, now I'm trying not to make it too ridiculous because this one verse, we could teach a whole class off of this one verse, because heaven or shemayim also means what? What does mayim mean?
Mayim, water.
Water. So the heavens is water. Why do you, when you go to outer space, why do you float? Because that's the waters above. We're going to find out that the Most High separated the waters below, which is the seas down here, and the waters above, which is the outer space where you float and can't breathe also. Just like you can't breathe underwater and you float underwater, same thing. So understand when this verse is not as simple as so many people try to make it. Okay, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. That heaven is it's multifaceted. You understand? But we're gonna continue to read, and the context in this chapter is going to help us to be able to understand what is being said here. All right. I hope I'm not losing y'all. I want y'all to understand that it's complex, but we're trying to break it down nice and simple for you so you can understand everything that goes into this. Let's read verse 2.
Okay. Verse 2. And the earth was without form and void.
And the earth was without form. Remember, we just read in the beginning, the Most High created the heaven and the earth. But now we're reading the earth was without form and it was void. What does void mean? It means empty. That's hard to imagine because we live on this solid rock. Earth is a rock, right?
Yeah.
Keep reading.
And darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters.
So there's a couple of things that we have to address in this verse alone, right? When it says the earth was without form and it was void. See, we can bring science into this. The earth, before it had a form, it was in its gaseous state. And any scientist will tell you that that's before earth was actually formed, it was in a gaseous state. It was a so-called gas giant. If you look that up, that's a scientific term for basically an entity, right? Before it forms into something that's solid. Gas, something that's in its gaseous state. The easiest way to explain a gas is vapor, like water vapor. You ever boil water, you see that vapor coming up? That's water in its gaseous state. It's still water, just like water can be in its liquid state, or it can be in a solid state as ice, or it can be in a gaseous state like vapor, like water vapor. Go ahead.
I could, so people can have a better easier imagine it. Think of Earth as like when you think of being in this gaseous state, look at what they say. Jupiter is considered a gas giant.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because Jupiter isn't solid. You know what I'm saying? It's a solid core inside of it, but it's the outside of it is all gas.
Right.
No, what's floating around is just a big ball of gas.
Right.
So you think of Earth was similar, not like that, but similar to how you see Jupiter these days.
That's a good point. That's actually an excellent point, right? And that's a good way to be able to understand, because you look at Jupiter.
Saturn too. We say.
Yeah, but you look at these planets and you see them in. Of course, we can't inhabit them. They got a whole different makeup. And Earth at one point had that type of makeup. We couldn't have survived in Earth as a gas giant. We'd all died. But that's how Earth started. And when you go back and you look, even science tells you that at one point, they'll say millions of years ago, right? That's what they'll tell us. But it wasn't that long ago, right? At one point, Earth would not have been inhabitable for human beings. All right. But it eventually got to the point where it was inhabitable for human beings, right? And so that's what it was. Earth was in its gaseous state. It was a gas giant consisting of elements. It was in its elemental state. Like I said earlier, just like water can be liquid, it can be solid, which is when it's frozen. You got ice cubes, or it can be gaseous like vapor. When something is gaseous, it is empty or it is void, like we just read in the second verse, right? And you can put your hand right through it. You can just put your hand right through it because it doesn't actually occupy space. All right, that's what, when it says the earth was without form and void, it was at that point. The Most High created it, but it was still in its gaseous state. It didn't occupy any space. All right. Now read the second half of that verse, second half of 2.
In the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the water.
Now, when it says the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters, the face of the waters is space. That's what the face of the waters is. Remember how I was saying earlier, when you go into space, that's like the waters in outer space, because think about how it operates. There's no oxygen in there. Like in water, you can't breathe in water. You'll die if you try to breathe in water. Well, in outer space, you can't breathe either. You'll die if you try to breathe out there. You understand? But it also operates in the same way. You ever seen somebody swim in water and they kind of floating? You start to lose gravity when you get into water, the same way that when you go out of outer space. They call it zero gravity, right? So the face of the waters that we're reading about in verse 2 is space, and the earth that is in its gaseous state is what's within the waters, or upon the face of the waters, right? You have something? You want to say something?
I was going to say, sir, if you look at spacesuits look similar to diving suits.
Yeah.
For the same reason, because you need the oxygen to survive in the water.
Yeah.
You need oxygen to survive in space. That's why the suits look so similar, because all they did was take the scuba suit, right, and then just make it and build it for space. The idea was just add a couple things to make it, for
the pressure and things like that. But see, but look at it though. Like, even when you go into so-called outer space, right? The pressure that they talk about in outer space is actually found when you dive deep into the water. It's the same pressure that you find. You know how they say if you go out into outer space, it's not just the fact that you can't breathe out there. It's also extremely pressurized. You'll explode. You'll implode. Well, guess what happens when you go too deep into the water? You implode, just like that Ocean Gate submarine that we saw implode thing. You understand? Well, that same thing can happen to you. It's exactly the same. And science doesn't want, like, scientists, they don't want to admit that they're the same thing. They try to make these differences, but they all have to come to the same conclusion that it really is the waters above and the waters below. It's the same thing.
Gotcha. And the ones scientists that do say it's the same, they try to discredit.
Yeah. Yep. They try, exactly. But that's what we found out of this Bible, that this Bible is a science book. It's a history book. It's everything that we need. You don't really need anything else. Ecclesiastes tells us that in the 12th chapter of Ecclesiastes, right? You search out many books, but there's no end. You'll get faint trying to just read all of these books. The Bible gives you absolutely everything that you need to be able to understand. But the problem is that the Christian church has not taught you properly about this thing. So when you read this is all spooky. Nobody's going to break that. Nobody's going to spend any time breaking the first and second verse of Genesis out, or breaking it down. They're not going to do that for you. because they don't understand it. But that goes back to Amos, the 3rd chapter. Amos, the 3rd chapter tells us that the Most High gives he reveals his secrets to his servants, the prophets. All right. But let's read verse 3.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 3. And God said, let there be light.
And God said, let there be light. Go ahead.
And there was light.
And there was light. What is this talking about? This is what your scientists will call the Big Bang. See, some people try to break this down, and because there's two, we're going to read this today, right? There's two instances where the Most High created light. You have this part where the Most High said, let there be light, and there was light. And then you also have another instance where we'll read shortly from now, where the Most High created a greater light for the day and a lesser light for the night. And it's always been a battle within Christianity, Catholicism, anybody that so-called believes in the Bible. They don't really have an explanation for that. Atheists will use something like this and say, well, the Most High said, let there be light, but then he also created another light. And Christians will tell you that this light is the sun, right?
Right.
Christians will tell you when the Most High said, let there be light, and there was light, that this is talking about the sun. That's not what this is talking about. This is what your so-called scientists would call the Big Bang. The creation of the outward expansion of the universe that we see today, that science proves that the universe is constantly expanding. That's not false. That's true. But that science was first found in the Bible before anybody came up with that. When people thought the earth was flat back then, they didn't realize that the true science was in the Bible. You understand? So that's the so-called Big Bang. When it says, let there be light, and there was light, that's the Big Bang. It's an explosion of light when the Most High activated those elements. All of those elements were dormant. Just like when we just saw how the earth was in its gaseous state, all of those elements, the heavens, the earth, all of that was in a dormant state. Dormant means to be sleeping. They weren't active. But the Most High activated all of those elements at once. When he said, let there be light, the angels made it happen. And that's when you see that Big Bang and you see the outward expansion of the universe. That's creation. The Bible is practical. So when science tries to explain something to you that they're trying to figure it out, right? They don't realize it's been in front of them the whole time. But see, Christianity tried to make this be about the sun, but there's too many holes to poke into that. So now when you say, let there be light, and there was light, and that's talking about the sun, and then you read a few verses down and it says there was a greater light for the day and a lesser light for the night. Well, so what, the Lord made the sun twice? It's too many holes that you can poke in that argument. But when you read this Bible practically and you understand it, it's backed by science. This thing makes perfect sense. You have something?
John, so I was going to say, not only that, but too, saying when you look at it, right, I always I got to an argument before people about the Bible, Christian being myth, let's say, and I asked them, well, do you believe in the Big Bang Theory? And they was like, well, yeah, because that's science. And I was like, but to believe in that, it's like a theory is a well-educated guess. Yeah. That's all a theory is. It's not solidified. There's not enough information to solidify it. Yeah. So they go on to a theory is just a guess that has a lot of science to back it up, but it's not set in stone. Mm-hmm. So I said, believing in a theory means that you have faith that this theory is correct. Right. So they say that a Big Bang Theory, you're saying that this happened in this event, that's just a theory, is correct. Right. Not to ask you, what made the Big Bang Theory happen? Because you're telling me that nothing from nothing just exploded and created something. And science will tell you that matter cannot come from no matter. In order for matter to be created, it has to come from something else. They can't explain how that Big Bang happened. The Big Bang is true. Science proves it. We can see that the universe is outwardly expanding from one solid point. But what science can't explain is where that matter came from. Look at the vastness of the so-called universe. It's extremely huge. Where did that all of that stuff is energy and matter? Where did that matter come from? Science will tell you that matter cannot come from no matter. It has to come from something. That Big Bang was that pocket of a bunch of elements that the Most High put together. He snapped his fingers, told the angels, create light, and they created the light, and that thing opened up. And that's what we see, the outward expansion of the universe. Even then, scientists say what we see right now is called the observable universe. Right. Means that they know that there is expansion that's farther out but that's how far light has gone that we can see.
Yeah.
So just you know, if you think about the vast of what the Most High have made around us, the Most High has the capable of doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like whether that's observable, is true or false. At the same time, like I said, that expansion that's happening,
Yeah.
we can only see so much of it.
Right. Yep. And then they try to use that to date how long the universe has existed. Listen, and this is our stance on. We understand we're not going to take a concrete. There is nothing in the Bible that tells us the Earth is 6,000 years old, or it's 8,000 years old, or 1,000,000 years old. There's nothing in the Bible that tells us that. What we can conclude is that the Earth is at least around 8,000 years old. That's what we can conclude. Okay, but remember when we read the first verse of the Bible, when it says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth," we don't know how much time came from in the beginning to when Earth became in its physical state, in its solidified state. We don't know how much time was in between that. That could have been 1,000,000 years that people are trying to come up with. It could have been that. I'm not saying it's not. We don't go against nothing like that, but what we do understand is that people try to utilize those things to say can't be God, because this Bible dates back to 6,000 BC, and that's all they can go back to. And they try to say that the ancient Sumerians was all of that stuff, man. What they try, all of that is to try to disprove the Bible. Okay, but in trying to disprove the Bible, they're actually proving the Bible to be correct. All of the things that we read right now are the things that the scientists are telling us. They're smart. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're smart. These cats, they go to school for these things and they understand these things. But a lot of people that delve into science, they try to utilize science to disprove God and disprove a creator, when in all actuality, like, this is what Paul said. Paul said you cannot do anything against the truth. When you try to come against the truth, you're actually helping the truth. Yeah. You cannot do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. Everything that you do to try to discredit God, you're actually giving him credit. You're actually making it known that the Most High is real. When you try to say that the Big Bang happened, but try to say that we don't actually, that's why you said it's a theory, right? It's an educated guess, because they don't understand the Big Bang properly. And they know they don't. They'll admit, they'll say, well, it definitely is it was this Big Bang that happened, and that's where the outward expanding of the universe comes from. But once again, science also tells you that matter cannot come from no matter. So what's the matter that created that Big Bang? That was the Lord and his angels. We understand that because we're in the truth, and we read this Bible practically. You understand? So anyway, that Big Bang is when the Most High activated those elements. That's when he created, instead of the gaseous state of the universe, he created all of the things that came out when the universe started to expand and when that light was created. Some people try to say that light is Jesus Christ. That's not true. Okay, Jesus Christ was created before this light. He was part of creating this light. I don't know why people come up with that conclusion. They try to say that this is Jesus Christ. It's not. Jesus Christ was created before this. And there's a lot of other Israelite groups and stuff that will try to teach you that this is Jesus. That's mainly who teaches this, as a response to atheists saying, oh, why are there two lights here? But that's what it is. Now, something else we have to understand, right? The core of the earth, the core, the center of the earth, right? When you go to school, you understand that you have many components to the earth, right? You have the core, which is at the center, then you got the mantle, you got the earth's crust, all of those different things. When this light was created, that's when the earth's core became solidified, and that's the hottest part of the earth, right at the center of the earth. That's also what this is talking about, because what a lot of people also, what science don't want you to know, and they try to teach against, is that earth is the center of the universe that we have. Like, this is where the Most High has placed his creation. Did he create the other planets? Absolutely. But you know how long we've been trying, I'm saying we, but America and really everybody in the earth has been trying to find life forms on these other planets. They can't find them. You know why? The Lord didn't put life there. He didn't put life on Mars. He didn't put life on Jupiter and Uranus and Saturn, all of these different planets. He didn't put life there. Those are just stars to light up the sky. You understand? Those are things the Most High created, but he could put earth here. He put his creation here. So a lot of people try to discredit the Most High by saying, well, the earth can't be the center of the universe because look at all of that stuff out there. We were just talking about the vastness of the universe. But guess what? He didn't put life out there. As much as America and Russia and all these different places have tried to find life on these other places, they can't find none. They try to find water, can't find none. Because the Lord put his creation in earth. So it's not far-fetched to believe that earth is the center of the universe and the Lord created earth for us. You know what I mean? Yeah. That makes sense. Look, go ahead, Art. You have something?
Going on what you're saying, sir. The scientists say what they found was called planets was called the Goldilocks zone. They look about how far we are from our sun.
Yeah.
And how like they say the distance we are from our sun, so that we can have liquid water, things like that. That's that we have. They call it the Goldilocks zone. This is the zone that's just right.
Yeah.
So they say that they found in other planets in the so-called Goldilocks zones, but none of them are inhabited. They're empty.
Exactly.
That's it. Some of them don't even have water on them.
Exactly. And see, that's why I'm trying to tell brothers and sisters that it's not far-fetched to believe that this is the only place where the Most High put life. I understand why people now listen. I'm not an idiot. I understand why people would come to the conclusion there's got to be life out there because look how vast the universe. I understand. We ain't found it, and we searching for it. These people is going to Mars and all over the place trying to find life, any form of anything that's living. They can't. It's nothing but voidness out there. There's nothing out there because there is no life besides this place. So, but like I said, I understand it. It's like, damn, all of these planets, universes, different. You know, we live in a multiverse. All of these universes and planets, and you telling me that there's no other life? Yeah, that's what I'm telling you, and that's what your scientists is telling you. They ain't been able to find it either.
What they said they claimed that they found on Mars was bacteria.
Right. Yep. Mm-hmm.
But according to scientists, we started off as bacteria that just started in the waters that grew to fish, and fish that grew to other animals that eventually came to be us.
Right.
But that's the case. Oh, they're saying, according to them, Mars been around for the same amount of time the Earth been around. So why didn't the same thing happen on Mars?
Well, and not only that, my theory, my educated guess is that all of these different drones and space stations that they're trying to set up over there brought bacteria from Earth over there. Think about it. You understand? But that's once again, that's just a theory. I don't teach theories, but I do want to put that out there. You find bacteria on Mars, it's probably because you filthy stinking humans brought them over there. You understand? But it ain't no life over there. Even for them to be able to sustain life on Mars, when they were saying before by 2020 that they were going to have a compound there that would humans would be able to live. But even then, they was like it's going to have to be in some sort of dome and in some sort of enclosure. Right. So we got to think practical. You see, we can have a lot of ideas. We can think there's got to be life. Yeah, that sounds good, but shit, that's not proven. We go off of facts here. We don't go off of things that we think. Because if we went off of things that's how religions are created. We think this could be this and this could be that. That's conspiracy theories and all that garbage. We don't involve ourselves in that. If we can't prove it, then we can't go by that. Right. But we can prove though, like when they talk about the Big Bang, they have a falsified understanding of it, but that did happen. We read it just now. The third verse of the Bible. You had something?
Like I said, even like believing, like putting your belief in the Big Bang is like I just want to say that's kind of religious to me because you don't have like I said before, it's a well-educated guess, right? Like we have some knowledge of it, but not everything, no full deep understanding of it. And people will say that this is true and the Bible is false. Mm-hmm. And they'll believe that over the Bible. I say, well, to believe that, you have to believe that just everything happened at the right time. Like the Big Bang happened and it settled at the right temperature. Then the Earth was formed at the right spot away from the sun. That Michael's having to do is like there's a lot of happenstance. So you have to put belief into that. You put belief into something, I feel like that's like you form your own religion. Your religion is science.
Right.
And it's like so you can say that what I believe in is false, but not to say you believe in is false too, because are you saying that these things just happen?
Right.
Like that it's like the percentage of it happening is damn near impossible for it to happen
Exactly.
on its own. And that's what people they say they believe in they won't say it's the Most High. They say it's somebody else does a intelligent design.
Right. Exactly.
Which is just you might just say you believe in the Most High at that point.
Right.
Who else is the intelligent designer?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's we gotta understand that thing, man. So lock in. Check this out real quick. But yeah, that's what we're talking about. And honestly, the problem that most people have is that they're trying to find any reason not to believe in God. That's really what it is. Most people are fighting to try to be atheists. They don't want to believe, and that is the fault of Christianity. Christianity is the reason why this thing is happening like that. That's why science is trying, people are trying to utilize science to say that the Most High doesn't exist or that the creation story is false. They try to break it apart because they don't understand that there's a way that you can practically break this down and understand it according to science. But they're not willing to do that. So lock in. Let me see something real quick. I'm trying to get a stream. Hey, for those of y'all that's watching right now, is this stream choppy? Can y'all type in the chat? Let me know if the stream is choppy. I think the audio might be fine. But I believe the video, unless my phone is tripping. Y'all let me know in the comments, for sure. For those of y'all that's watching online, let me know if the viewing experience is poor. For sure. Y'all let me know in the comments. It look like from my end, it look like we real choppy. But y'all let me know. What you see anything?
I'm about to do it right now. So.
Yeah, let me know. It look like we might have to restart this stream.
Audio.
Huh?
Kind of pause.
Yeah, look, it's paused, huh? I think the audio is still running. Let me see. Yeah, the audio is still running. Hey, y'all in the comments, let me know. We can keep pushing for. Yeah, that's all right. That's good. I'm just gonna have to keep it pushing like this. Then let me get verse 4. We're just gonna do it like that. As long as brothers and sisters can hear me, nobody typing in the comments. I see y'all watching. Nobody typing in the comments. Let me know how this thing going. Bible shot. No. All right, but let's give verse 4.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 4. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness.
Mm-hmm. So God divided the light from the darkness. You have to understand what this means, all right? After that explosion of light, the Most High formed a division or a barrier to contain the light. All right? And that's where you get the earth's core from. Remember, I mentioned that from verse 3, right? Where it was let there be light. Well, the Most High created a barrier to contain that light, and that is the earth's core. All right. And the earth's core is separated by the many layers of the earth. Remember, we talked about that, the earth's mantle, the crust, all of these different layers of the earth. All right. Keep going.
Verse 5. And God called the light day.
Mm-hmm.
In the darkness he called night.
So now the Most High called the light day, and the darkness he called night. Now that day was that heat or that core within the barrier and the darkness was the face of the earth outside of that barrier. That's the breakdown on this. That's how we have to be able to understand this. This is the first concept of day and night. We'll see the creation of the sun and the moon later. Remember, because this is not the creation of the sun and moon. See, a lot of people try to say that this is the creation of the sun and moon, right? Because it says he called the light day and the darkness he called night, and they try to say this is the sun and the moon. But no, the day here is the earth's core within, or the heat within that barrier, and the darkness was the face of the earth outside of that barrier. And that's the first concept that we get of day and night. But we'll find out the more that we read down, the Most High created a light for the day and a light for the night, which is the earth, and which is the sun and the moon. Okay, let's get through verse 7, and we're gonna have to shut this stream down and possibly restart it because I think this internet is just too jammed up. All right, but go ahead.
Verse 6. God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters."
So let there be a firmament. All right. Firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. We was talking about this earlier, right? About the fact that above the Earth's atmosphere, we find that it's like a water-like state. Outer space is like water. And of course, we understand water down here because we live with it, right? Well, there are waters within the Earth's atmosphere and in space, which is why you float and cannot breathe, right? Now, the firmament itself, that firmament that we were talking about, that is the ozone layer. That's what separates and protects the Earth's atmosphere from outer space. That's why when they talk about putting holes in that ozone layer because of pollution and those types of, that's why it's so dangerous, because that's what literally separates Earth's atmosphere from outer space. That is the one. Now, there's different layers to it, right? You know, there's a troposphere, stratosphere, all of that. But understand that the ozone layer is the most important layer, and which is the firmament, because it separates Earth's atmosphere from the atmosphere of, or the lack of atmosphere, right, from so-called outer space. Go ahead.
That's also why, you see them to the rocket side, why rockets have to be so powerful as it is, you know what I'm saying? Because rockets have to push past that barrier.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They have to push such a force, because you can't, people think you just float up, you go into space, the rocket just puts you into space. Rockets have to push past that the barrier that's right there.
Right.
You can only naturally go so high up, right? There's some years ago there was some Edomite dude who wanted to do the longest jump from the top of the stratosphere, right? Once you get to that point, you can't just naturally just go up. Right. There's like something that stops you. You know, so it's hard to break through that point. You know what I'm saying? You're inflated, things that happen to you. The rockets have to be powerful enough to push past the barrier to get into space.
Yeah.
You don't just go into space.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, if you've ever seen the Simpsons, they did something on that. You got to be able to push past that ozone layer. And that's why when they say, how can you poke holes in something that's not physically there? Think about that. They're talking about poking holes in the ozone layer because of the pollution. Well, that's a physical thing that you have to, it's something that's there. Yeah. And they try to make it seem like it's not like that, but that's the firmament. That's what that is.
Like,
all right.
You have to explain, like, why there's too many questions that when you say there's nothing there, you have to answer them. Why does the sky not keep pushing up? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Well, water evaporates, it comes a cloud,
and then it comes right back down. It don't go no further than that because it can't.
That's if I can break that out real quick, sir. In Job, if I can read it out real quick.
Go on.
This is the book of Job, chapter 26, verse 7. He stretcheth out the north over the empty place, and hangeth the earth upon nothing. He bindeth up the waters in his thick clouds. The clouds is not rent under him. And so he holdeth back the face of his throne and spreadeth his clouds upon it. He hath compassed the waters with bounds. That's it. Until the day and night come to an end. So simply saying, like, the earth hangs upon nothing. There's nothing that the earth hangs upon, just it's there, it floats. And then you get to verse 8, you know what I'm saying, the waters binds up into thick clouds. The cloud water can only go so high up.
Yeah.
And they bound up there. That's like the clouds. The clouds are just a collection of the water that's in the air that eventually come back down to be rain.
And that's heavy when the scriptures say that the Most High binds up those clouds, because if you've ever on an airplane before, there's only a certain height that those clouds can come, and they all stay at that height. Once you come above those clouds, you don't see anymore. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you've ever been in an airplane, you see that, and that's true. It's all due to the atmosphere, and the Most High had set those things in their place. That's part of the reason why I don't feel like planes should exist. I don't feel like you should be able to be that high up and flying and suspended in air. That's kind of ridiculous. Now, they do good for us because, of course, it helps us do the work of the Lord and get to places where we need to go pretty quickly. But goddamn,
Right.
But go ahead, it's like.
Then in case, of course, it's saying that you know what I'm saying. Like I said, he put the balance right there. You know what I'm saying.
Right.
Like he can pass the waters with balance.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that means that there's boundaries to where the water can and can't go.
Right.
They said past the atmosphere, like go so high up. The water is only allowed to go this high up.
Right.
It's just not allowed to go any farther than that.
Mm-hmm.
Most I put that right there. That's why, you know what I'm saying, you see the cumulus clouds,
Yeah.
the clouds that stretch up high,
Mm-hmm.
you know that was going to rain because it's too tight now. It's too bundled up. It has to not come back down.
Right. Yeah, and that's the way that the Most High set those things up. That's heavy, man. That's heavy. Let me check on the stream again, Salaki. Let me check on the stream. I'm checking the stream. We might have to restart this thing, man. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and restart. Yeah, that man, we gotta get that together. Salaki. I know that viewing experience is something tough. All right. All right, y'all. For those of y'all that's tuned in, we're gonna stop the stream and we're gonna try to start another stream so that way we can get it together. Hopefully y'all can have a better viewing experience to be able to see the visuals along with the audio. All right.